And now from the Palladium Room, Justin Hustin sings all the dead songs of David Bowie. What? Why can't we just have... Who is David Bowie? Can we just roll the regular open to the show? God. Netcasting live from somewhere near the mid-Atlantic coast, it's the Justin Hustin Show. And now your host, Justin Hustin. Well, greetings everyone and welcome to the program. Justin Hustin here for you today. We are back on track, back at home in the break room of Bilko Media's Main Street Studios, and everything is coming up roses, as they say. So we're so glad to be back and bringing you all of the things that you've come to know and love about the program with the features and everything like that. And we're going to be today going from high point to high point and then all of the low points in between. And we did, in fact, meet with Tuna Bill, the borough's big fish in entertainment law trademark. I hope I got that right, Raymond, but he did some good work for us. We met with him over at Milliner's Daughter, and he said, I think I can work this out with the fine folks at Bilko Media. And then sure enough, he did, and that's why we're back. So I came back on Wednesday. We had what they call a wintry blast came through and blew the steps off the back of Bilko Media, and everybody has to come through the front now. But I thought it would be a great idea if I could come back here to the break room, and in honor of National Grilled Cheese Month, could just maybe welcome everybody back with a nice grilled cheese. But your Raymond is telling me that everybody stayed here, and then so I'm welcoming myself back. But I went up and we had they don't have a grill here in the break room, so we had to kind of do and improvise, and I put the bread in the toaster, and then it pops up, and you put one of those individually wrapped slices on there, and then you just put it in the microwave for 10 seconds and give them out there, and everybody loves it and says, I love the grilled cheese. But then one guy came over and said, could I get some pepper jack? And I said, no, we don't have that. But anyway, the queers are coming to the borough, and they will be here, I guess, toward the end of the month over at the El Diablos, and there's no word yet on how many, but it's at least 2. And if you want to get tickets, you can go inside and get a ticket, or you can go online and go to the ticket lunch. And now, the second-hand news. It seems the governors of all of the great southern states will not be buying a ticket to the Queers Show here in the borough. They've got other things on their minds this month. It started out in North Carolina. They had a law they just passed to keep the transistors out of the bathroom. You don't want the transistors going in there and, messing with people and groping them in their, tingly parts and stuff right there in the public restroom. So they made a law that would keep all of the transistors away from having any bathroom activities, and that you can tell a transistor usually if it's wearing like a fancy hat or something. But what I'm a little confused on here is if they decide they want to go and make a pee or something like that. Anyway, and they just take off the hat, and then you don't know who's a transistor or not, and so it seems like largely unenforceable kind of law there in North Carolina. But Mississippi said, hey, we want to get in on some of this anti-queer, but we don't say queer anymore. We used to say that back in the 70s when I was cheerleading. They'd say, oh, look at that queer, or here comes a queer, or something like that. Well, but now we just mostly say about the gays and lesbians and things like that. So in Mississippi, they decided that the thing to do to protect sensitive religious people who are, very convicted with their sensitivities and everything. And it's not just, you might think of it as Christians, but it's for Christians and Muslims. You could have the Jews. You could have your Hindus and Buddhists and Lutherans, everybody who has a sensitivity or a sincere religious conviction regarding these things is going to now be protected. So if you are a business person with these objections, then the law is really working out really good for you because you won't have to open up your business to certain situations. And we know that the gays and the lesbians have a proclivity for spontaneous orgies, and this is basically what the law is addressing. If you have like a restaurant or a wedding chapel or something like that, then you don't really want to have a rehearsal dinner or a wedding or what do you call it, the after party, the receptions for these people, and they would break out in a spontaneous orgy because you don't want to have to clean up after that, and it's an extra expense to your business, so we can understand that. And basically, they were probably looking at New York. If you've ever been up there to the Gay Day Parade, then you know what Mississippi is concerned about. They have, if you go to the Gay Day Parade in New York, they all right there on the street, there will be spontaneous orgies, and then they get excited and have to run home, and they leave a huge mess for everyone there, and then the Christians are forced to clean that up. So that's the law that they've put in Mississippi to kind of handle that a little bit. The mayor of Mississippi, his name is Phil Bryant, and he said that people who are against the law are mostly misinformed, and the law is HB 1523, as they refer to it there in the legislature and everything, but the real name of it, and I don't know why anybody would be misinformed or confused just based on the name of it, but it's called the Freedom of Conscience from Government Discrimination Act. So that's pretty clear. The author of the law is a fellow by the name of Phil Gunn, and he wrote that one, and it went on through with all the people there in Mississippi, and he says that he's now working on one. He's moving ahead in his endeavors, and says he's now working on one to keep slobs away from chicken, but he's not sure whether or not it's biblical. The people of Selins Grove, Pennsylvania are up in arms over a 9-year-old named Hildy, and they're all mad about her nose for news. This pint-sized reporter launched her own newspaper called the Orange Street News in crayon about 2 years ago. Now she's got everything up on YouTube's and Faceplate and everything like that, and usually she does stories about rabid raccoons. You remember that song? Rabid raccoon and went to the moon, and I think that was a Beatles song. But and then she does stories about vandalism and vacant storefronts there in her hometown. But recently, her dad, Matthew, who used to work for the New York Daily News, he says that Hildy has gained confidence and stepped out of her juice box. He didn't say I put that in there about juice box. He just said it stepped like thinking out of the box, but I put juice box in there because she's 9 and year. But anyway, Hildy has moved on to investigation reporting, and with a story on a possible murder mystery. She and her sister Isabel and her dad Matthew, they all went down to the crime scene, and Hildy posted her video report on Faceplate and YouTube, and the townsfolk lost it. And they gave little 9-year-old Hildy a good old-fashioned public flogging in the town square of the internet, a.k.a. the comments section. Here's some of those comments. Quote, "I'm disgusted that this cute little girl thinks she's a real journalist. Whatever happened to tea parties?" I think we know where tea parties are going. But then here's one. 9-year-old girls should be playing with dolls, not trying to be reporters. So Hildy didn't really bat an eye at this, and she went right back at him and said, "I know this makes some of you uncomfortable, and I know some of you just want me to sit down and be quiet because I'm 9. But if you want me to stop covering news, then get off your computers and do something about the news. There. Is that cute enough for you? Go, Hildy, go." And I thought that would settle everybody down, but you know what? I went and looked, and it seems like she woke up the winos there in their little Pennsylvania town, because after that there was a series of comments that it seemed like they didn't even know who they were addressing. Here's one from Dale 721345. It says, "Hildy, you aren't the prize hog at the county fair." And then we have another one from maybe another wino. This one is from Earl My Truck. And I guess that's his name. I don't know what that means, but Earl My Truck says, "If I'd have wanted you to think, I wouldn't have bought you that oven." And now the rest of the news. Merle Haggard, country icon, star singer Merle Haggard is dead at 79 years old. Back in 1969, he had a huge hit with the Okie of Muskogee and so forth and so on. A true American original. Merle Haggard is no longer with us and has in fact passed over. And he had a case of pneumonia that he was dealing with. And, the doctors say that pneumonia is the old man's friend. And then it got worse, and it became a case of double pneumonia and also lung cancer. And the doctors call that one the fisherman's tap dance. Well, we're going to be right back with a lot of good stuff for you. We're going to be looking into some selfie help next on the Justin Hustin program. Goody Gooderson, for what the heck time is it? You're over here, you're over there, you're passed out on a beach in Tierra del Fuego, an archipelago at the southernmost tip of South America. You have no idea. It's 11, it's 12, it's 3:32 p.m. Don't worry about it. Get on your cell tablet, place a call to me, Goody Gooderson, 787878. Punch in your PayPal there. Some charges may apply. I'll look at the clock and I'll tell you, oh, it's 4, it's 6, it's 12:30. What, are you crazy? It's 9:30. You got plenty of time. No more missed appointments. No more staring at the sun. I'm Goody Gooderson. What the heck time is it?
3, 2, 1. Selfie! It's time for Selfie Help. A long, hard look in the mirror of the disaster you call life. Justin Hustin is ill-equipped to give advice, and he has no training in the fields of psychiatry, psychology, or social work.
But, I just can't get over thinking back a little bit into the last segment with the, things going on and with the laws and everything and Jesus. And I don't want to go too far afield here, but I remember back in the 80s and the 90s, although the Christians would think about how to make their beliefs very clear, and they would put it on their bumpers of their cars, and they'd stick it on their refrigerator. You shouldn't put stickers on your refrigerator, but they had a WWDJ, and that sounds like something on the internet, Oh, he's a great DJ, but it didn't mean that at all. It meant, what would Jesus do? And they tried to explain everything what would Jesus do? And I'm thinking back on those Mississippi and North Carolina, Tennessee and everything. And so you've got to really think about that. Is Jesus, he was like go around with prostitutes, and he forced people to drink wine, and even when he was dying, he buddied up with a thief, and he said, "Come on with me, and then once we're dead, you can hang out with me at my dad's house." But so what would Jesus do in a situation like that? But anyway. Here on the Selfie Help, we want to talk about something that's more down to earth and real, and that's a very real situation of Sam's, or shopping anxiety for men. And this is a condition that a very recent study came out exploring this situation. Well, it's not new. It came out in 1998. But anyway, it turns out that about 99.898 or like 12% of all male populations in the industrial world that suffer from a situation where they don't like to go in and buy things in stores, and it's really debilitating. And what happens is if a man, a mailman, or a male, a dude would, if he would go into a store unprepared, let's say, the study has shown that his heart rate will race, his pressure will rise up, and this creates a situation that's not unlike a fighter pilot going into combat, and it can result in some real serious situations like sweating, um, tipping over and passing out, and sometimes death. Uh, Sometimes the sweating can lead to Morgellons disease, and that will manifest itself right there in the store with kind of colorful yarn exploding from your pores, after you've sweated a good bit. So all of this is very bad for the male shopper, and you can you can understand that the worst of it obviously would be, tipping over and dying. But imagine the embarrassment if you got Morgellons right there with the yarn coming out of your face, and like on aisle 5, and you wouldn't want that. So it's the for the lesser cases of it, you can do something that's fairly simple. If you are a mailman or a male person, like a dude, and you need to go shopping, but you're having problems with that, most people can rectify this situation by just, like chucking a handful, or like we say, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Popping the Jolly Rancher. That's it. Yeah. So just keep a Jolly Ranchers on hand, and then pop a Jolly Rancher, and that it's so tart, and it's just so surprising to the taste buds that you'll be distracted by the taste and the shock to your senses, and then you'll be able to go ahead and get through that. But however, sometimes it's more serious, and you'll need to do more to help yourself out. And in that case, you're going to need what's called the immersion therapy, or the repetitive immersion therapy, repetitive immersion therapy. Now I've got it. So what you'll do in this situation, if it turns out to be really bad and you just can't go shopping, you will need, first of all, to get yourself some money together. You're going to need about $200 or $300 a week, and if you're not financially ready to do that, what you can do is go and ask a friend to give you that money. And you'd be surprised if you tell them what you're doing. They need to do some therapeutic shopping. You would be surprised that most of your friends will say, absolutely, I'll go ahead and do that. So you're going to need about 1 to 3 months worth of money. And that's the first part of it. You get that settled before you move on to the next part. The second part of it is make a list. And if you haven't made a list before, the way you do it is you think of a thing, and then you want to write that down on a paper, and then you wait and until you think of another thing. And then when you think of another thing, you're going to write that one down too, but you put it underneath the one that came before. And then you just repeat that and wait for it to come, and then write it down underneath the other one. And then suddenly you'll have like 3 things, or you could go on and you could get 7, but you probably want to stop around like 10 of those things. You don't want your list to get too big, so you'll become confused. So you've got the money, you've got the list, and then we're going to move on to the last one, which is the visualization. So think of that as MLV, money list visualization. And you do not, once you have the money and the list, you do not want to proceed any further. You don't want to leave the house until you have the visualization. And the way you do that is think of yourself with your money and your list, and think of yourself leaving the house and getting into the car. And you have your list in hand, which gives you confidence. And then you'll get into the car, you'll be alone, and you'll put the list down in the passenger seat. And then you also have to visualize the place you want to go. Is it a shopping plaza or a mall or one of those, like, what do you call it, a grocery store? Any place like that where they have things to buy, you can go ahead and visualize one of those places. Or it could be a shoe store or, like home improvement. Anything like that is going to be good, but you want to take all of those and put those into your mind and visualize yourself going there and getting the items. And then you want to picture yourself leaving the store with a giant pile of things that you've bought and a big smile on your face. See there? Now you've got it. That wasn't so bad. And then after, most people can clear it up in about a month, and then in no case any longer than about 3 months, and then you'll be fine with that whole Sam's experience, and you'll be back down to normal. And don't worry, a lot of people get worried about borrowing money from friends, and this is where it really pays off, and you don't have to worry about it at all, because you come out of there and you just call up your friend and say, hey, thanks for the money, and now I'm bringing you all these things that I bought, and they'll like that. So I'm glad that we've explored Sam's, and we were helping you to help yourself. And we'll be right back with some of the best in Twitter.
Welcome to the nature store. You feeling okay? Come in, look around, see something you like? No problem. Just bring it to the front. Clarendaralella will ring up your item and place it in the reusable canvas bag that you brought. Soon after, you'll exit the storefront with your purchase and return to the place you call home. No problem. Just like a real store. Need a weekly special? Here's some from old Dandy Dan. He's still kicking.
Nerve formula help to remedy the air and the nervous system problems. The formula in the base of alcohol can be directly put in the ear, applied topically, and take a eternally. Glycerine tastes better. Internal use, but it should be not put on the ear. The $14.65. If you want to buy one and get it 2 or 3, it's just $14. And it's buy for say 20. 4%. Mind track, and one of the most popular formula of mental sharpness, clarity, emotion, the balance, and overall health. Get it. Her brain, nervous system. Adult capsules, 50 service. Children's drops is 114. The service is $18.95 if you want to buy one, and to get the 17, 20. Buy 4. I'm Dandy Dan.
Nature store. Just like a real store. Reading Twitters, reading Twitters, reading Twitters, yeah!
No, I'm fine. No, no, I'm good. Are we back? We're back. Okay, everybody. Well, when we were in the break, with was there's something going on in the break room that went over a little bit, I guess. So little Delbert, was in the break room, and he's in there from time to time, and he has one mode, and that's bloody murder. He just doesn't matter. He screams and screams, and as if he's happy, he screams, and if he's sad, he screams, or in danger, or contentment, and anything. He's just always screaming. He was doing that. He has one of those absentee fathers who isn't there. He's his father is, I guess, what you call a tattoo artist, but he's not at the tattoo shop here in town. But so I went over during the break and I said, "Hey, little Delbert, I said, we're trying to do a show. Could you just, keep it down a little bit?" And then he hit me in the face. So we're good there. Now, I don't know. His mother doesn't work here. Why is little Delbert in the break room? I don't understand it. But anyway, here are some of the good Twitters that are going on right now. And, Twitter now has the NFL, and that is something that nobody understands, because maybe if you had attention deficit disease or something like that, or but I think they're going to do 10 games of the NFL this year on Thursday nights, and that's the night where everybody likes to go to bed and not watch NFL or read Twitters. But my thinking was that they could they go ahead and put the game on the TV, and then have a video. If you want to do a video of the cheering squad, and you could just watch them and watch the game if you were gonna stay up on Thursdays. But and then here's some of the good Twitters today. Here's one that says Andrea Russett, @Andrea Russett 4H, and it is all in caps, so it's good. How cute is he? I hid a bunch of signed T-shirts under seats at the show, and he found one. How QTEEE! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! And then it's a picture of kind of like a subnormal with a child. Yeah, that's a real good one. Here's one from Guy Fiery, @Guy Fiery. It says, #TBT to the first burger coming out of the kitchen at #EL Burro Borracho at the @Rio Vegas. And that one is a 3H, so that's a real good one. Here's one from Golf Digest, @Golf Digest 14H, and it says, "Ladies and gentlemen, the 2016 Masters has officially begun!" Exclamation point. And then there's I don't know what that is. It's a cartoon of some sort. But then these blank leaderboards will start filling up soon. And then it's a smiley face with hearts in its eyes, and it's bulging out. And then let's see. We're short on time today, so let's see if we can find one to go out with a bang here. It says, here's one that has a picture of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 babies. We're just going to have to go on this one. This is a Giant C Cosmopolitan 10H, @Cosmopolitan, 25-year-old who thought she was pregnant with one, baby gives birth to 5, bit.ly/25NSQZH, and then there's a ... So those are some of the great Twitters for today. And we're coming right back with the process. The Justin Hustin Show is brought to you by Ehrlich & Sons Finger Holes, where the holes are for fingers. Ambulance Eye. Yep. And Tyrone's Honey Nest. You go, girl.
The process.
Well, it's springtime in T-Town, and the spring camp is winding down, and we've got a lot of good news coming out of Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and I guess the primary news is, I guess, maybe what you and everybody else is thinking, that Bo Scarborough is the one to watch, as they say. He's a big running back, and he's got a lot of great reputation behind him. And as long as he can stay healthy, he's going to be the... Oh, there it goes. My paleorhythmus, my spring of my ancient music is acting up again, and that's been going on a little bit. It got worse when I was over the weekend at the spring cabin, and I got up there a little early, and I ran out of doctor pills, and I'm not allowed to bring in my Permethol. Mother Hustin says that's quackery, and quackery is the purveyance of ducks, and I'm not showing any feathers yet. That's what she always says. So anyway, I'm gotta get more doctor pills, and I gotta go to the nature store and get Permethol and whatever. So yeah, so quackery is a purveyance of ducks, I guess. Well, what is the purveyance of the cougar man? Ask Mother Hustin about the cougar man and the purveyance of the cougar man. We're not calling her today. Not at all. So I'll get this figure. Oh, dang it. Okay, well, for technical director Miss Kelly, producer Raymond, I am Justin Hustin saying, so long, everybody.
Justin Hustin Show. Now available with 100% more YouTube. Unsearchable. Go on to the SoundCloud and click on the link, and it'll take you to YouTube for all the archives. Limited availability on SoundCloud. Also, become a Patreon. Click on the link in SoundCloud and become a Patreon. Justin Hustin Show. I'm Dandy Dan.